Let's get one thing clear. You didn't stumble onto this message. You were sent. This is no accident, no coincidence. This is divine timing. And deep down, you know it. Because there's something stirring in you right now. Something that says, this is for me. And you're right. It is. You've felt different your whole life. You've walked through storms others didn't see, fought battles behind the scenes, and carried a light even when the darkness tried to take you out. And yet, you're still here. That's not luck. That's legacy. That's divine preservation. That's proof that something greater has been guiding you all along. This moment, it's your reminder, your confirmation, your activation. You've been chosen to rise above, to break cycles, to walk in purpose even when you didn't have the blueprint. The fact that you're still breathing, still standing, still searching for truth, that's powerful, that's sacred. And that's exactly why this message is reaching you now. So, lean in. Because what's ahead isn't just inspiration, it's impartation. You're not just about to be encouraged, you're about to be ignited. This is your time to remember who you are, why you're here, and what you carry. And trust me, what you carry is not ordinary. You are the miracle. You are the shift. You are the sign that something divine is unfolding. So if your spirit is stirring right now, if something inside you is saying, "This is my word," then don't scroll past it. Stay. Lock in. Let this be the moment where everything starts making sense. Because what's coming next is not just a word, it's a wake-up call for the chosen. And you're one of them. Let's go. Some souls carry storms that would have shattered anyone else, but not you. You've weathered seasons that tried to take everything from you. Your identity, your confidence, your will to keep breathing. What you've lived through wasn't light or fair. It wasn't just one hard moment. It was layer upon layer of heaviness that stacked itself against you. You've known betrayal from the ones you trusted most. You've sat in spaces, surrounded by people, and still felt invisible. You've carried more questions than answers and still chose to keep moving. If you feel the abundance of divine love filling your heart, now is the perfect time to share it. By clicking the super thank you button on YouTube and contributing $50 or more, you can help spread God's blessings far and wide. Your offering will not only touch your own life, but also reach countless souls through this platform. Each of you holds a sacred place in God's magnificent plan, and your generosity will be the answer to many prayers. Take action now. Share your blessings to honor His kingdom, for you were created to accomplish even greater works through His loving hands. May God's grace be with you. Yet here you are, still upright, still standing, still rising. You didn't fold beneath the weight. You didn't drown in the silence. You didn't turn your back on compassion or let bitterness replace your heart. Even after everything, you held on, not out of sheer will, but because something greater was holding you. What many call survival in your case was sacred resistance. Not loud, not flashy, but the kind that keeps showing up with tired eyes and a determined soul. The strength in you wasn't built on applause. It grew in the shadows. It took root in the dark. Every disappointment became a chisel, shaping something unshakable inside you. The world may not have clapped for your quiet victories, but heaven documented every one. The nights you cried and still chose hope. The mornings you got up without answers. The moments you forgave, even when it wasn't deserved. That's not ordinary. That's divine resilience. People often expect breakthroughs to come in bright lights and dramatic shifts. But the real miracle was you choosing love when it hurt, choosing peace in chaos, choosing to heal when hatred would have been easier. That's not just strength. That's anointing. You don't need to explain how you made it. Your calm presence speaks volumes. Your steadiness testifies. The atmosphere shifts when you walk in, not because you demand attention, but because you carry something eternal. You weren't spared from hardship. You were sustained through it. There were moments you didn't think you'd make it, moments that crushed your breath and blurred your vision. But grace wouldn't let go. You were being prepared, not punished. You were being fortified, not forgotten. And now, you've become someone who sees with deeper eyes, who walks with quieter confidence, who understands the kind of power that doesn't need to perform. Everything meant to ruin you only refined you. And what you carry now isn't just survival. It's wisdom. It's discernment. It's purpose. You didn't crawl out of the pit just to exist. You came out with the kind of authority that only comes from walking through fire without letting it burn your soul. You are a living promise that what tried to end you became the platform that launched you. You don't need to announce your healing. It announces itself. You don't need to argue your strength. It's seen in your peace. You were preserved for more than just getting by. You were saved to lead, to liberate, to light the way for others still wandering through their own shadows. You should have collapsed under the weight, but heaven whispered, "Not them." Because what rests on you is not finished yet. What comes next will not just restore what you lost. It will multiply everything you carried with grace. You are more than a survivor. You are the revelation of what divine protection looks like in human form. And your story, it's not over. It's just beginning to rise. Though he slay me, yet will I trust in him. Job 13:15. Sometimes God allows the breakdown before he brings the breakthrough, not to destroy you, but to deliver you. It's like when a seed goes into the ground. To the world, it looks buried, but heaven knows it's planted. What looks like the end is actually the beginning of something brand new, something divine, something designed just for you. You weren't handed your journey on a silver platter. You didn't have a map or a safety net. You had to walk through the fire, through the loss, through the heartbreak, and still somehow find the courage to rise. While others built from comfort, you built from collapse. And that wasn't failure. That was favor in disguise. Because when the old world fell apart, it made room for the truth to rise up from within you. The people you thought were permanent left without warning. The plans you held close disappeared like smoke. What used to feel like home became unfamiliar. And yet, in the middle of all that confusion, something holy was happening. The stripping wasn't punishment, it was preparation. God wasn't being silent. He was resetting the stage. You were being refined, not rejected. And in that space, where everything felt lost, you finally began to see. See what was real. See who you are without the titles, the applause, the attachments. And what you saw: strength, grace, resilience. A chosen one, not defined by what they lost, but by what they carried through the loss. God didn't remove those things to hurt you. He allowed them to fall so you could stop clinging to what wasn't aligned with your future. You didn't just survive that storm, you transformed in it. And now you're building on something eternal, something no one can steal. Not approval, not status, but purpose. So no, it wasn't the end. It was the start of the real you finally rising. You've been planted, not buried. And what's about to grow from this? Eyes haven't seen, ears haven't heard. Just watch what God does with the ashes. When you stood in the ruins with nothing but questions and empty hands, something holy happened. The noise faded, the striving stopped, and what rose in its place was clarity. You realized you could still breathe, still feel, still believe, even if just barely. You didn't need everything you lost to find your way. You needed you, the real you, the grounded you, the one who isn't built on roles or titles or being liked. That's where purpose was hiding. Not in the climb, but in the stillness. It didn't roar its way in. It showed up in the quiet decisions, choosing to stay soft when life made you hard, choosing to rise when grief pressed you down, choosing to trust again without knowing how. You stopped chasing validation and started walking in alignment. You learned that purpose doesn't come wrapped in perfection. It's born in surrender, in authenticity, in resilience no one applauds. And slowly, your spirit rose. Not in performance, but in presence. You no longer needed to be seen to believe in your worth. You stopped clinging to titles that were too small for your calling. You started to move like someone who had met themselves in the mirror of pain and chose to love what they saw anyway. People may still talk about what you lost, but they don't know what you gained. You walk lighter, but you carry more. You speak softer, but your words shake walls. What was taken from you doesn't compare to what's been built within you. You lost your script and found your soul. You lost the illusion and found your identity. And now you carry a peace that doesn't come from control. It comes from truth. What came to ruin you only revealed you. And that purpose you walk in now, it was forged in the furnace. You didn't just survive the collapse, you became through it. And the world can see it, even if they don't know what to call it. What they call mystery, heaven calls mission. You don't owe anyone an explanation. Your peace is proof. Your presence is enough. You are not here by accident. If you feel the pull, the knowing deep inside that you are chosen, this is your moment. Click the super thank you button and give $20 or more to unlock deeper insights, exclusive content, and a path that aligns with your divine purpose. This isn't just a contribution, it's a declaration, a step toward who you were meant to be. Answer the call, walk with us, and step fully into your destiny. Your journey begins now. They used to call you too much, too deep, too loud, too emotional, too different. They pointed at your sensitivity like it was a flaw. You weren't following the script, and that made you a target. You were labeled the difficult one, the odd one, the one who couldn't just follow the rules and smile. You tried to blend in. You tried to shrink. You even questioned your own wiring. But no matter how small you tried to make yourself, your spirit refused to vanish. While others accepted the surface, you craved the truth. While they were satisfied with routine, your soul ached for meaning. That ache wasn't a problem, it was prophecy. You weren't being defiant, you were being designed. You didn't fit because you weren't meant to. You didn't blend in because you weren't sent to belong. You were sent to build. And yes, it cost you. The tables you sat at didn't know how to feed you. The hands you held didn't know how to hold you. But you stayed kind. You stayed open. And when everyone else was numbing, you kept feeling. That's not weakness. That's divine tenacity. You never let the world harden you into something you weren't. Now everything has shifted. You no longer hide. You no longer explain. The same ones who misunderstood your depth now lean in to hear what you have to say. They see how steady you are, how anchored you've become, how unapologetically you walk in your truth. You didn't climb your way to power. You became power through the climb. And what's wild is you didn't ask for followers. You just stayed faithful. You didn't demand recognition. You just kept evolving. And now, without chasing a platform, you've become a foundation. People come to you not for noise, but for knowing. Not for show, but for shelter. You lead not by title, but by presence. You carry a stillness that settles rooms. You speak, and people feel seen. That's leadership. Not the loud kind, but the lasting kind. Not the scripted kind, but the sacred kind. You didn't rise because of applause. You rose because of alignment. Your pain was never in vain. Your path was never random. Every misfit moment was heaven's marking. You weren't rejected. You were reserved. So no, you're not the black sheep. You're the lighthouse. You were never meant to follow their path. You were called to make your own. And now, they follow you. There are souls who carry silence like a second skin, not by choice, but because the world around them never knew how to hold their voice. You've walked through long stretches where everything felt still, too still. Familiar faces faded into distance, and the ones who promised to stay turned away without explanation. It wasn't just the absence of people, it was the absence of being seen. You went through days smiling out of habit and nights searching for someone who could hear the parts of you you never said out loud. That kind of ache doesn't make noise, but it lives loud inside. And you asked yourself hard questions. Was it something you did? Something you lacked? You replayed conversations, memories, seasons, trying to pinpoint where it all began to slip away. It wasn't just loneliness. It was the heavy illusion that maybe love was never meant for someone like you. But what you didn't see then, and maybe are only starting to see now, is that the distance wasn't designed to destroy you. It was designed to reveal what can never be taken, the presence that never left. Think back to the days you nearly gave up, but something unexplainable kept your feet moving. Remember the exact moment you were at your lowest, and out of nowhere, peace settled in without a reason. That wasn't luck or coincidence. That was divine proximity. You weren't forgotten. You were being gently guided out of the noise and into the knowing. You didn't need an audience. You needed alignment. When people pulled away, it made room for something greater to pull closer. Not every rescue shows up with sirens. Sometimes it arrives in quiet moments when strength slips in without a sound. What looked like isolation was actually a sacred reset. You were being covered, protected from voices that couldn't carry your vision. You were being trained to hear what most ignore. Heaven wasn't ignoring you, it was investing in you, not punishing you, but preparing you. The space around you was cleared, because what's being built within you can't be shaped in crowds. In those seemingly empty rooms, you met something real. You found stillness that strengthened your spirit. You discovered how to sit in silence without feeling abandoned. That shift, that learning to rely on what cannot be seen, is what made you unshakable. Now, you move with a kind of security that isn't loud, but it's solid. You don't flinch when people walk out. You don't collapse when things change. You've come to understand that divine presence doesn't leave, it leads. What once felt like exile has become evidence. You've walked roads others couldn't handle, and you came out of it with clarity. You don't fear alone anymore, because now you know who's always been with you. That knowing is what sets you apart. That knowing is why the next valley won't rattle you, and the next time your phone goes quiet or the room feels empty, you won't question your worth. You'll remember the whisper that got you through the last season. The whisper that said, "You're never walking alone." Some healing happens quietly, without crowds or confetti. And the kind of healing you've lived through, it deserves honor, because it reached into layers of pain others never saw. The grief you buried so deep, even your own words couldn't find it. You didn't just patch up the surface, you went to the root. You sat with the pain others ran from. You stared down truths that made you tremble. You traced the pain back to places you had no part in creating and still chose to be the one who broke the cycle. There were echoes passed down to you, ways of thinking, reacting, hiding, that weren't yours, but they lived in your body like they belonged. And yet, you stood in the middle of that legacy and said, "This stops here." That kind of choice takes bravery most people will never understand. You stopped rehearsing survival and started writing peace into your cells. You let go of what didn't belong, even when it had your last name. You forgave what wasn't fair. You gave closure to stories that never gave you an ending. And it wasn't easy. There were days it felt like healing broke you more than the pain ever did. Days when progress felt invisible and triggers came louder than peace. But you kept showing up anyway. You stopped waiting for apologies. You stopped needing the past to change in order to feel free. You learned to offer yourself what no one ever did: patience, gentleness, grace. And slowly, without ceremony, you began to glow from the inside out. You became someone new. Not because you pretended the past didn't happen, but because you refused to let it dictate what comes next. Your healing didn't make you perfect, it made you real. You're softer now, but not fragile. You're wiser now, but not cynical. You can hold space for others because you've held space for yourself. That's not just healing, that's wholeness. You no longer carry the weight of what tried to define you. You carry the light that comes from having met yourself in the dark and choosing to love what you found. That's not just a transformation, that's a testimony. And this is only the beginning. There's a rare kind of strength in those who still choose to uplift others while quietly tending to wounds of their own. You're one of them, the ones who extend hope with trembling hands, who speak peace while their own hearts ache, who show up for others even when showing up for themselves feels like a battle. You carry burdens no one else can see, yet you walk into rooms and become the light people didn't know they needed. That's not performance. That's divine resilience in motion. You don't wait until the pain disappears to offer kindness. You give what you often long for yourself: reassurance, calm, understanding. And though your soul sometimes whispers for relief, you still choose to be someone's reminder that love exists. What you do might seem small to others: a kind word, a thoughtful message, a moment of presence, but in truth, it's sacred work. Not everyone can love from a cracked heart. Not everyone can lead while still learning to stand. But you do. It's not because you have all the answers. It's because you've met God in the silence. You've discovered that spiritual strength doesn't always roar. Sometimes it leans in and listens. It steadies hands that tremble. It shows up when everything else falls away. You've learned that wholeness is not a requirement to be useful, that sometimes you offer the clearest wisdom while still learning how to live it for yourself. This is what makes your journey so impactful. You're not waiting to be perfect before being present. You're planting seeds of hope in others while learning to believe again. You pray for others while still rebuilding your own faith, and none of it is wasted. Every selfless act, every gentle word you give when your soul feels tired. Heaven sees it. It's not overlooked. It's counted. It's honored. You're creating a ripple that will reach far beyond what you can currently measure. The quiet compassion you give while healing is planting something eternal. And when your own breakthrough comes, and it will, The world will realize you were a miracle, in motion the whole time. Not just for others, but for yourself. So keep being tender, even when you feel fragile. Keep giving love, even while learning how to receive it. Because what flows from your life isn't weakness, it's anointed strength. The kind that touches hearts without needing recognition. You are proof that healing doesn't require silence. It can walk, breathe, and bless, all at once. There is a shift taking place inside you, and whether the world sees it yet or not, it is undeniable. You are walking into the very life you once begged for in whispered prayers. The longing that used to ache within you has started to take shape, not as fantasy, but as form. The questions that haunted you are being replaced with quiet knowing. The chaos you once mistook for normal has given way to something steadier. It's not always loud, not always obvious, but it's real. Now is the moment to share God's blessings by clicking the Super Thank You button on YouTube. With a donation of $100 or more, you can actively participate in His divine mission and contribute to His greater plan. Every offering you make reflects the boundless generosity of God, and I trust it will return to you abundantly, far exceeding your hopes. Always remember, His protection and blessing accompany your every step and every act of giving. You are a vital part of His sacred design. You are strong and radiant, steadfast, like His mighty rock. Experience God's miracles, feel the rewards of your generosity deep within your soul, and shine your light with boldness and faith. May you be richly blessed, and may the light of the Lord continually guide your journey. The foundation you're standing on today didn't come from chance. It was built through decisions no one saw, through lonely nights of soul work, through choices to keep showing up when you felt invisible. You're not guessing anymore. You're growing. You're not clinging to what was. You're stepping into what is becoming. What once looked like a distant dream is now showing up in your daily life. New strength, clearer vision, deeper peace. Not all at once, but piece by piece. And it's not coming from outside approval. It's flowing from within. You've started loving yourself in the same way you once begged others to. You've stopped waiting to be chosen and realized you already are. This evolution you're walking in is not accidental. It's a fulfillment of everything you endured, everything you held on to when giving up felt easier. You are what breakthrough looks like on the inside. You are what answered prayer feels like in real time. You're becoming the person your younger self needed. You're becoming the person your future self will thank. And you're not done. The best part? This isn't the finish line, it's the emergence. The goodness that's unfolding in your life isn't a peak, it's a preview. What you've carried in faith is starting to unfold in reality. And the beauty of it is, you're not trying to convince anyone anymore. Your life is starting to show what your voice never had to prove. You're not just healing, you're transforming. You're not waiting for purpose to arrive. You're walking in it. And every step you take, even the quiet ones, is echoing with fulfillment. You don't have to announce it. You are it. You are the answered prayer. You are the fulfilled promise. You are the living proof that what was once broken can now bless. Keep moving forward. Keep embracing what's becoming. Because the version of you that prayed in pain is watching you now and smiling. You didn't just survive, you became. And what's coming next will only confirm what heaven's been whispering all along. It's already happening.